How you doing, everyone? All right, let's say it with some gusto. How's it going, everyone? My name's Luxeley. I'm gonna do a boogaloo in the Temple of Kotmogu. I have no idea what a boogaloo is. Boogaloo. I have no idea what it is. I'm gonna have to Google it after this because Google's my friend. I can learn a lot from Google. It's like having every single encyclopedia set ever created right at your fingertips. And if you don't know what an encyclopedia is, well, you could just Google it. Bye-bye. Thanks for playing. Coming soon at a theater near you. But I happen to be blessed with a pretty good team here, and I notice that a lot of times if you're with a good team or in an arena with good players, whether it's 2s, 3s, or 5s, when you're with good players and things are in sync and they coordinate with you, it creates opportunities for you, and I think it helps you accelerate to your A game. But in order to really perfect that A game, you really need to play with bad players and really get your teeth kicked in a little bit, because I think that that's where the true challenge is. Let me know your thoughts on that. I mean, yes, you can certainly elevate your game by playing with good players, but I think by putting yourself in bad situations, you really do improve. Those are just my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments. And I said this many times, I'll say it again. If you guys can take the time to respond to a given comment, I certainly can take 20, 30 seconds out and respond to your comments. Especially while I'm a small YouTuber, I'm going to take advantage of that as much as I most possibly can. But I am with a very good team. Things start off kind of even matched, even though this goes quickly. It was a pretty even match, gotta say. And I make a little bit of a mistake here because I should have used my leap of faith to pull that ally orb carrier out of the way there. That was a mistake on my part. I was just thinking offensive. I needed to shift in to defensive, supportive role there. I didn't do it, but that's not a major thing. Unless, of course, it cost us the game, then it was a bit of a major thing. That orb carrier probably had a lot of stacks because he went down really quick when that shaman popped all his whammies. And let me translate for you. When I say whammies, I pretty much mean offensive cooldown. I think I'm the only one that ever uses that term, and I just felt I had to clarify. But it's a pretty even match so far. And as you can see, I'm not grabbing any orbs. I'm doing what I do best. Peel for orb carriers, take out enemy orb carriers, unless suddenly the situation dictates otherwise, like if we're down or the other team comes within 100 points. Then I kind of say, okay, got to grab the orb, got to pay attention to the objectives. And I usually make that transition pretty well. This hunter's making a big mistake by backing himself up against a wall because it takes away his deterrence ability, which he should be using right now, but it's probably on cooldown, and it's thanks for playing. So we have 2 orbs, they have 2 orbs, and it's a pretty equal match. Hey, you! Hey, you, how you doing? Boy, it's got to be confusing in Ventrilo or Skype when your tune's name is you. You know? It's like, you, it's got to be confusing. Thanks for playing, though. Death Knight, thanks for playing. Appreciate it. Got to take care of the Death Knight pretty quick when Army of the Dead is up. That can do a lot of damage, Army of the Dead. That's why it's on a 10-minute cooldown. Thanks for playing, Mr. Paladin. Uh-oh. Mr. Shaman. A little bit of fear. A little bit. Uh-oh. And he's dead. Thank you for playing, Mr. Shaman. I appreciate it. This hunter does the same thing every time. He pops in the middle of trouble, smashes his... Ooh, that was kind of a big crit for a Shadow Priest. Smashes his barrage and then does his deterrence dance, and it's like rinse and repeat with him. But yes, it looks like we're in a pretty decent lead, and I have mail. I wonder if that's Blizzard saying, welcome to the beta. Yes, one can dream. Thanks for playing, you. It's my buddy, you. Uh-oh, the Horde have 3 orbs. I might actually have to grab an orb. But I'm a very strong advocate for focusing on what you do best in a BG, even if it happens to be up against the objectives. But then there comes a point where you have to take the objectives into consideration, like when your team is losing, or even if the other team is like within 100 points, then you really have to downshift and start adhering to the objectives, grabbing the orb when you can, etc., etc. But let's be real here too. My purpose is to create a video, and people love big crits, which is something that a Shadow Priest is really not going to do. Our damage right now is not described as burst damage. It's not really even described as sustained damage. It's kind of in the middle of those two, which makes us very elusive, which is something I happen to like, and I'm not sure if we're going to maintain that in Legion, but so we're not going to get big crits. That's just not really a Shadow Priest. So we can get a lot of kills, though, because we can wear them down with dots and then pop in some instant damage, Shadow Word Death with a reset. Usually get a lot of kills because you have that finisher with Shadow Word Death. So that's what people want to see. They want to see a lot of kills. They want to see a lot of big crits. If it's Arena, then yeah, maybe they're not into you blowing people up quickly. They want to see the gameplay. They want to see the punch, counter punch kind of stuff, the overall strategy, how moves are countered, when to kill, a lot of things going on. They want to see that. But in BGs, no. I mean, I'm sure there are the exceptions, but the fact is people want to see big crits or a lot of kills. And let's face it, do people want to see mediocre gameplay? No, they really don't. They will watch good gameplay because they feel they might learn something, or they have a sense of appreciation for it, or they might want to watch bad gameplay, because then it's like, okay, at least I'm not that guy. There's somebody worse than me. So mediocre gameplay, there's really no room for it, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on that? Leave it in the comments. I'm talking from a spectator standpoint, watching on Twitch or watching on YouTube. Of course, if the Twitch guy is a mediocre player and he has a special way of bringing people together to do things in game, that adds value. Or if he's very entertaining, that certainly adds value. But if he's none of the above and all he is mediocre, I just don't see the point in watching. That's just my thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Skipped out of damage there. Another thing that's going to go away, which is something that I do occasionally use, is Phantasm. And I like Phantasm to get out of slows because that's the biggest Achilles heel for a Shadow Priest, are essentially slows. Because you get nailed with a slow, you're going to lose a lot of your mobility, which is the way that you can best mitigate damage, by keeping yourself from being trained, by keeping distance on your enemies. And that's why Death Knight is so extraordinarily frustrating, because they can literally spam Chains of Ice 6 times in a row and lock you down, and there's really nothing you can do. Yes, you might be able to disperse if you have it available, but the reality is you disperse, he's going to do something, Chains of Ice, or he's going to stun you, because they all have asphyxiate. I'll learn how to say that later. But they all have that, and that means that you're not going to get your getaway in effect. And that's another thing that's going away, Cascade, which I'm not a big fan of, to be honest with you. I understand it's got a huge advantage because that happy randomness, often by hitting someone who's low on health, kicks in Twist of Fate, and it adds to your damage and keeps that proc up. But otherwise, no, I don't like it. I think it's a mindless ability, and I don't like mindless keyboard bashing kind of abilities. Hence, I'm not a big fan of Death Knights. Sorry, people. That's just my opinion. But yeah, looks like it's relatively close. Not such a bad BG. Went quick. Went really quick. And I wonder if Blizzard's going to cut the time on BGs again in Legion. They kind of snuck that in WOD. They took about maybe 15% of the time off of each BG across the board, and I'm curious to see if they're going to do something like that with Legion. We'll find out soon. Oh, sorry, looks like you died. Oh, boy. He's cycloned. Thank you, Mr. Druid. I appreciate it. That is my 20th kill, I believe. Yes, it is. People, I appreciate you tuning in. This is Luxley saying, whatever it is by you, morning, afternoon, or night, make it epic. Luxley, out.